The following is my own opinion and not the opinion of any studios I've worked for in the past or will work for in the future. So, you want to work on movies? I getcha. Here is my step-by-step guide for how I would approach your search. Now, please understand none of this is guaranteed to find you a job, but hopefully it'll make approaching your search a little less intimidating. Should you study online using free resources, go to an online VFX school, or bite the bullet and go to art school? There are many different factors involved here, and I recommend that you check out our Cinema Cemetery episode all about this specific issue. Link to that is in the info section below this video. While you're learning the tools of your eventual trade, you'll have to decide whether you want to be a generalist or a specialist. A generalist is an artist who has a pretty good grasp on everything relating to the entire pipeline of film and animation, while a specialist is someone who chooses a specific sub-trade within VFX and animation to focus on. There's no perfect choice here, so I'll run through what I think are required and some pros and cons for each. Now, a generalist should be pretty skilled at modeling, lighting, comping, and animating. They should be able to work with all the major Adobe and Autodesk products as well as Nuke. They should be familiar with some minor FX simulation, whether that's in Maya, RealFlow, or Houdini. Just some knowledge can help. More than what they know, a generalist's main skill is their ability to learn on the job and then turn around and execute on that fresh knowledge at a quality caliber of feature film standards. Generalists are great for smaller studios because they can fit so many different areas of the pipeline. Why hire an animator, lighter, and comper separately if you find a killer generalist who can fill most of the needed roles? Now, generalists are pretty weak when compared to specialists in their category of strength, though. You probably won't find a generalist with mostly technical skills that also has amazing creative strengths, and vice versa. The old saying, jack of all trades, master of none, exists for a reason. When you're working hard to know everything, it's really difficult to stand out in a specific arena. Specialists are a laser bolt straight to a specific problem. Specialists who choose to be programmers, animators, and compositing technicians will find they are often in demand, while matte painters, texture artists, and CFX artists may struggle to find that next gig. It can be pretty crushing to hone your learning to a single topic, only to find that the industry doesn't really need any artists of that stripe right now. My advice to those learning is to think of yourself as a generalist-specialist hybrid. Learn the basics of all major software used in the industry and be competent in them, but also choose a specialty to pour your extra time into. Really dig as deep as you can in that arena. This will help your demo reel stand out and give you an opportunity to make 2 demo reels. One focusing on your general abilities and the other focused on your specialty. Speaking of demo reels, during the course of your education, you will have to complete a number of projects. Some of these will hopefully be good enough to land on your demo reel, but you shouldn't really count on that. Class projects look like class projects. You're going to have to constantly be doing personal projects on your own time to really stand out from the crowd. If you're wanting to work in the film industry, then you need to get used to late hours and no socialization sooner than later, so you might as well start now. There are more artists out there than jobs, so you have to want it more than literally every other person studying in your year. When assembling your demo reel, it should be a maximum of 2 minutes. Put your best work together and show it to your friends, family, professors, anyone with eyes. Ask them all the same thing. What 2 shots should I remove? It's hard to view your own work objectively, and it's better to have a high-quality short reel than a mixed-quality long reel. Your demo reel is only as good as the worst shot in it, so make sure you land punch after punch of visual wonder. Nothing janky, nothing mediocre. Look up demo reels from people within the industry. We're all on IMDb and LinkedIn, so you can easily get some names to Google. Match your reel to the competition. Does it hold up? It better. You're competing with them for jobs, and you don't have experience, so your visuals need to be stunning. Your demo reel should also be well edited. It should feel snappy, cut to music, and never drag. The second a recruiter gets bored, they're clicking away from your video. Don't let them get bored. In reference to music, it doesn't really matter what the song is too much. It's probably best if it has no vocal track and isn't too aggressive or boring. You're walking the line of trying to use something most people will find appealing without being so recognizable that it distracts from the visuals. A demo reel isn't the only bit of information you'll be sending to a company though. You're also going to need some paperwork. Let's start with the easy one, your cover letter. Fun story, I don't have one. If it's possible to submit an application without a cover letter, I do. I think they're a waste of time, and I have never heard of them being read, though they are sometimes requested. If you can't get away with not submitting one, then whip up a grammatically correct paragraph about why you want to do whatever job it is with a little insight into your personality and call it a day. Resume. Now this one is a little trickier. You don't want anything overly designed, distracting, or ostentatious. This single sheet should be a streamlined conveyor of information and nothing more. You want your name, your number, and your email address right up top. Follow that with your education, whatever that may be. After that comes your experience, but since you probably don't have any if you're right out of school, you can get a little creative here. Consider adding a relevant coursework section between experience and education so you can flex the titles of some of those VFX or animation classes you may have taken. Any classes you think make you suitable to accept a job can go here. later. After that, you can put your experience section and list any jobs you may have worked. Probably nothing industry related, but it's good to show people you can commit to a workplace. If you get stuck on the resume, there are a ton of great document templates available online to help you out. Okay, you've got your demo reel, you've got a resume, and you're motivated. Let's head down to the job orchard and start picking them jobs right off the tree. Bad news. The job you want at that studio you love isn't open, and if it is, they want somebody who knows what they're doing. People work their entire lives just for the opportunity to one day work at Pixar or wherever, so don't lose hope when your search for the ideal comes up dry, because it probably will. You know what they say, beggars can't be choosers, and if you start getting choosy, you're gonna find yourself a beggar. So what do? We apply everywhere. What kinds of jobs do we apply for? All the kinds. We're gonna paint the industry red, and by we, I mean you, and by red, I mean you. First step to any job search, get organized. You're gonna need an Excel or Google Drive spreadsheet, and you're gonna list every single company who hires people who do what you want to do. It doesn't matter where they're located. If they want you, they'll help you get there. If you don't want to move, that's fine too. You can always work in another industry. Have you considered joining the Postal Service? No? Cool, glad you're okay with moving, because the film and animation industries are always moving, and if you want to catch up with it, so shall you. Amass a list on a spreadsheet of every single relevant company you can find, as well as their respective websites so you can hit them up later. This will take quite a bit of time. Don't know relevant companies? What recent movies would you have loved to work on? Look up the company credits on IMDb. Boom, you know companies now. Organize that list in order of desirability and hit them all. Okay, listen, slow down. How do I even know if they're hiring? Most sites have a careers or jobs or team page with that information on it. If they're hiring for something you can do, apply. If they're not hiring, submit what is called a speculative inquiry. This is basically just an email with a brief introduction from you, as well as your resume, demo reel, LinkedIn profile, info, etc. If there are no instructions on how to do that on a company's career page, look for a contact page and send it to the email address that seems most appropriate. Every time you submit an application or send an email, make careful notes of the date, company, position applied for, as well as any responses on your Excel spreadsheet. This is going to help you stay organized as you blast the industry with your reel. You're going to need to send hundreds of applications. This is not an exaggeration. You may hear back from 2 or 3 if you're lucky. That's normal. If you don't hear back from anyone for an interview, it means you need to improve as an artist. Take a month or 2, work a side job wherever you can get it, and crank away at personal projects at home. Make some great looking shots, cut them into your reel, look up all those studios who ignored you, then apply again. If every time you apply, there's market improvement in your demo reel, people will start to notice. Now let's fast forward. You eventually get that interview. Now what? Before an interview, you want to have some questions prepared. An interview is not an interrogation. It is a dialogue. They're expecting you to have as many questions about them as they'll have about you. Let them talk first, let them take their time and ask their questions. You should end the interview with yours. Usually they'll ask if you have any questions at the end, but if they forget, you are more than welcome to say you would like to know more about a couple of topics. Good questions pertain to the company's overtime policy, the software used, if there's training involved, what kinds of projects are coming down the pipe, how long the contract would be, and what next steps would be, and when do they think they'll get back to you about the position. You need to be prepared to answer difficult questions. You may be asked what your salary expectations are, or if it's a small studio and a short contract, what your day rate is. Figure this out before the interview takes place. They'll want to talk about the shots on your demo reel, how you accomplished them, what you're proud of, and what you think you could improve on. If your interview is in person, show up about 15 minutes early with a notebook, pen, and wearing casual professional clothes. The VFX and animation industries are super relaxed when it comes to daily attire. However, this is an interview, so an effort should be made to look nice. We're not talking funeral or wedding nice, just dress sharp yet comfy. If you can't figure out that balance, then dress like you're going on a first date. You want to be true to yourself, but also give a great first impression. If your interview is by phone, make sure you're in a quiet environment where you get good cell service. Don't forget that notebook and pen. You'll want to remember the names of everyone you talk to so you can add them on LinkedIn after the interview, and if the interview goes further, you'll remember who you spoke to about what. If it's a video interview, you'll be using Skype or a similar software. Make sure you have access to stable internet, have tested your video and audio equipment, and are in a safe place, clearly lit so they can get a good look at you. Make sure not to have a super distracting or dirty room behind you. I get it. Interviews are uncomfortable. I don't know that anyone actually likes them, but do your best to stay calm and not rush. Don't work too hard to be charming. I know it's tough, but if you relax and try to be yourself, you'll come off as much more confident and professional than you might be feeling. If the interview goes well, HR will get in touch with you, probably via email, and work out details. Ideally, you've done it. You've landed your first industry job, but that's not where the story ends. Contracts often only run project to project. Studios move locations. Studios go bankrupt. There are many reasons. But suffice it to say, you're going to have to find another job in the future. This doesn't have to be as difficult as your first time though, and here's how. Now that you have a job in the industry, things get a little easier. You're going to be able to put specific projects and credits on your resume. You can get yourself an IMDb profile, and you might start racking up references with peers if you can hit the following goals: easy to work with, kind to others, non-invasive, drama-free, talented, can take critique, improves as an artist, able to learn quickly. Additionally, once your projects hit home video, you can start cutting your shots into your demo reel. Really make that little reel look super professional. There are no career jobs in VFX or animation, so you'll become a bit of a pro at this whole circus eventually. It's intimidating, time-intensive, annoying, inconvenient, and prolonged. But if you can survive and thrive through the job search, then you'll have a solid chance of doing well for yourself within this crazy industry. So what do you say? Do you have the hunger? Feel free to ask any job search questions you've got for the VFX or animation industry in the comments. Lord knows we've spent enough time doing it ourselves. This has been Cinema Cemetery, digging 6 feet deeper into film and culture. Hey, thanks for watching that video. If you liked what you saw, give us a like. If you didn't, don't.